What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What up, what up, what up, mofos? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. Tonight, I'm very happy. Tonight, I'm excited. Tonight, I'm thrilled. Because last night, I found out that on June 12th, just a few days ago, 2 days ago, we had something unexpected happen. No, it's not the aliens in Vegas, although that is cool. No, we had a brand new press conference with the founder of the Disclosure Project, as well as many other whistleblowers who are ready to come forward. Almost a surprise attack. Strangely enough, happened very near the time of the Vegas disclosure, and David Grush coming out, and so much other UFO stuff coming out. So it seems like this is really all coming up to a head. And I questioned why we would be having another Disclosure Project press conference right now. They had one back in 2001. They had 20 different whistleblowers at that event. I'm just kind of going through this new event and just kind of gathering some information. And I did watch it in its entirety multiple times. It's 3 hours long. So I am going to talk about each whistleblower in a subsequent episode. I'm not going to cover them all in one shot because each of their stories, as they take the podium, are at least 20 minutes long. So we're going to cover what they talked about, and then I'm going to give my comments on it as well. But I wanted to, bring up in an initial podcast that this is an event that just happened, and this is something to get really excited about. It's going to be talked about for some time. Why did Stephen Greer do this event? Because he was specifically asked to by the government to release new information. He was asked because they had just had an order requiring the office and the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. They have a law now, a bill passed that stated that he has to come out with all the UFO information within the next 6 to 18 months. And that was months ago. Okay. So it's all coming to a head, and there's actually a clock on this now, is what Greer's stating. And the clock is at the end of the year. And it's really interesting to hear what he's stating. And let me pull up some of this information. Because not only does he make proposals to the government, which they asked for, but he's also saying that there's a clock, and there will be crimes that will be prosecuted, individuals who will be prosecuted for their crimes if they don't come forward. So this is what's really interesting, is that they're going to prosecute individuals if they don't come forward within 6 to 12 months, telling their full testimony of what they've seen, heard, and been a part of. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to push everyone to the front, or force people under threat of law to go to jail or prison. So let me pull this up here, and I just want to give you, what his recommendations are. They talk about the fact that they have 400 whistleblowers, da 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 da, and then they talk about some new crashes and new alien, fake alien creatures actually created by the government. And his whole statement, really is really interesting. His whole platform, and this is where I I disagree with him, although I have 100%, you know, faith in this guy. I believe him is what I mean. I believe what he's stating. I believe what he's. I believe the people that he's bringing forward. I believe that he's doing it for a good reason. I don't think he's a front runner from the government, or some fake intelligence person or anything like that. I think he's the real deal. But I think that he might be a little brainwashed by certain alien species or maybe by certain individuals within the government. I could be wrong, but the main difference between my perspective and his perspective, from what I've read and seen and heard, is that his platform is that all alien abductions are done by our government. There are aliens from other planets that do not abduct us, and they are all non-hostile. He states they are all non-hostile. He runs CE5 groups, which means groups that meditate to try to talk to other species through telepathy as a group. So, he might have a communication with these other species, but I just don't think that there's 100% good guys out there. There's been too many other whistleblowers that have stated that there are bad guys out there. There are these reptilians. There are these other species out there. They are bad. Now there's only maybe 5% out of the 100% of aliens out there that are bad per se, have a negative or maladjusted agenda towards everyone, but they are out there. So that's the difference between myself and Greer. But I do believe in the people that he's bringing forth. I do find it fascinating that he is stating that it's all the U.S. government staging these or actually kidnapping people or, making a false flag event. It's been done before. It could be done since, but it just seems like it just seems unlikely, for so many abductions to be taking place. I mean, and why dress up like aliens if you can just knock people out and take them and without being in a costume and do whatever you need to do as the government? Why not do that? If I don't know. It just seems bizarre. But anyway, I'm going to keep going here. So the conclusions that the Disclosure Project has come across is within this document they put out here. Number one, there's two primary types of UAPs. There's extraterrestrial vehicles, and then there's man-made alien reproductive vehicles. They state a lot of the ones that we see in the skies are alien reproduction vehicles, like the TR-3B, the Phoenix Lights, and many others. He states that extraterrestrial groups are not hostile to Earth or humanity. However, they are increasingly concerned about human hostility in our weapon systems. He states that number three, extraterrestrial technology has been studied and reverse engineered, leading to breakthroughs in energy and propulsion. Number four, an extremely secret organization has been running these projects without legal, constitutional government oversight since the late 1950s. And number five, these illegal projects constitute a grave threat to national security and world security and peace. And six, key members of the U.S. government oversight committees have been denied access to these issues and projects, and it's a crisis they are working to resolve. Now, what are their propositions, right? They state that technologies have been held by this unsanctioned illegal operation, would immediately solve the world's energy, environmental, and poverty crisis. Maybe, right? The organizations have been targeting successfully downed ET vehicles. This covert group has technologies to launch a convincing false flag operation detrimental to the national security. These actions pose an immediate threat to world security and need to be reined in immediately. And crimes against humanity worldwide, and we're going to talk about that, human trafficking, it needs to be addressed, and they're going to refer people to international court for crimes committed by these illegal projects. Now, I want to move forward because he has a recommendations to the White House. Now, this is really interesting because making recommendations to the White House is pretty high level stuff, right? So, but he's been asked to do this. So let's take a look. His number one is to investigate the UAP UFO projects based on disclosure intelligence and other actionable intelligence. Number two, a presidential executive order to immediately stand down all targeting and attacks on extraterrestrial vehicles. Woof. That's a little scary to me. Because what if there are negative ETs? Greer's saying there's not. Who knows? Greer could be mind melted or being mind controlled to say, hey, we can't attack ETVs anymore. No sitting president is going to be like, hey, we're going to stand down to all ET attacks. So there I kind of disagree with him. But number three is an executive order requiring all military intelligence contractors, these are the guys that are pretty much the problem, and other agencies of the United States government to disclose to Congress and White House all information, material, technologies, and locations of UFO and UAP related assets. If not complied within 6 months, offending parties will be prosecuted and tried for treason against the United States. Number four, they want an executive order to require the State Department and the Pentagon to coordinate a global diplomatic and peaceful response to extraterrestrial civilizations. That just makes sense. I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't do that. They want, number five, an executive order requiring an immediate release of all U.S. Patent Office patents which have been seized under the corrupt use of national security provisions. So these are going to be like, all the Tesla stuff, all the energy stuff we've been talking about, and anything that can be used to further humanity. This makes sense. I agree with them. Definitely, 100% on that one. Number six, an executive order to immediately require the U.S. Space Force and Pentagon to coordinate assets with the State Department and UN and other foreign governments to initiate protocols for peaceful diplomatic contacts with all ET civilizations. Okay, I mean that's a good recommendation. Sounds legit. I'm okay with that. So, sorry, got to pull off this. There we go. Number seven is to have an executive order to immediately disclose advanced energy generating technologies such as zero-point quantum vacuum, plasma generators, and etc. for peaceful use, electrogravitic or anti-gravity propulsion to remain classified pending the review of military applications and national security concerns. Interesting. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it. So, is there anything in there that strikes you as off just a little bit? I'm not saying it's all off. Like I said, I'm down with Greer. I like a lot of what he says. I just don't believe that they're all peaceful. So I don't believe we should throw up, hold up our guns and not have any recourse. The other congressional recommendations, this is to Congress now, not the White House. Number one, Congress to immediately pass a $50 billion amount to support research in developing the zero-point and free energy systems. Number two, they want amnesty provisions for 6 to 12 months for all whistleblowers, executives, and government personnel and corporations, provided they give a full and complete disclosure. After the amnesty period, individuals and corporations, both private and government, if they don't come forward, will be vigorously prosecuted. Number three, Congress to convene open hearings with whistleblowers and evidence. And number four, Congress to pass legislation to explicitly protect personal safety, pensions, and private assets of whistleblowers. See, this is why a lot of whistleblowers don't come forward. A, they don't want to be killed. B, they don't want their family to be killed. C, they don't want to lose their pensions. D, they don't want to lose their own businesses. And, 5, they don't want to go to prison for the rest of their life. There's just so many reasons to not come out. And seriously, pensions is a big one. There are, even in this, on the dais of this particular event, there's an individual who's two that are disabled from the military that came forward as whistleblowers. They don't want their pension or their military, funds that they get from being disabled to go away. They need that money. They need that money to survive. And so, they're motivated to not come out, right? They don't want the military to say, "Oh, you guys were lying against it. We're not going to give you, your funds," or just, they wouldn't be able to live. I do like the amnesty provision in the fact that it gives people 6 to 12 months to come out, give their information, not be prosecuted. I think that's pretty ingenious. So there's a lot. There's a lot going on with this in the first, oh gosh, what is it? In the first 40 minutes, 45 minutes till they get to the first whistleblower. Greer talks about the fact that he had done this before, that, this happened in 2020 or 2001, 22 years ago. And, he talks about his history, but, then he gets down into like some different examples. It's interesting. It's kind of, he shows some different examples. He shows that he has like over 400 whistleblowers. So he's kind of like doing a recap at the beginning. And then he shows some new examples of what whistleblowers have come out with, but it's kind of like jumbled a little bit. He goes from one thing to another thing to another thing, but I don't know why he's telling some of these example stories when he's kind of giving a recap at the beginning. It's kind of a little weird, but maybe he's just trying to give examples of what is to come. But we do get very detailed examples from each whistleblower, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6. Looks like 6 on the dais this time. So I'm going to go through each whistleblower. I'm going to do a separate podcast for each one. They're detailed. They're detailed. These next podcasts might be pushing half hour, but it'll be good information. Maybe it might not. Maybe I'll be able to wrap it up in 20 minutes. I don't know. But I don't want to. I want to try to give as much info as I can, as much detail as I can, so that you can hear it. Because these guys, some of them lost their entire business overnight. The government came in and seized all of their assets overnight like a magic trick. And when they came into work the next day, everything was gone. Their entire company was annihilated. All of their workers said they couldn't work. There's no tools. We can't do our jobs. Another gentleman, got a traumatic brain injury from one of his military experiences. Other guys got PTSD. Other guys were threatened with their lives. Multiple guys were. Multiple guys were tried to be paid off by the government as well, including Greer, bribed. So yeah, it's going to get real interesting. It's going to be real fun, and it's going to be a real eye opener. And what's even scarier is there is an episode that I'm going to do about one of these guys that talks about the government doing human trafficking on one of these alien reproduction vehicles. If it was an alien reproduction vehicle, or was it an alien vehicle? Well, we're going to talk about that. And it was not even here. It was in the Polynesian islands, I believe it was. I'll get you the exact details. So it's really interesting. We're going to get down to it. We're going to get the details, and we're going to see what's what. And you guys can make up your own minds to see what you think. But there's some. Be ready. That's all I'm saying. Be ready. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna get on episode number 1, and I'll open up the comment section. We'll talk about it, and I'm gonna get on number 2, and I'm gonna get on number 3, and we're gonna get them all out. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are having a fantastic night, taking care of yourselves, physically, spiritually, emotionally, getting rest if you need it. I know I need rest. I'm exhausted, but I still want to follow through on this podcast because it is near and dear to my heart. And I hope you guys are following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. I did a little hobby today. I did a little bit of artwork today. And then, as always, continue to question the universe around you, which is what we're doing right now, right here at Lockdown Universe. Until next time, guys, Lockdown Universe out.